talk story. This is my girl Jessie. We grew up in the same areas from Napopo all the way down to Kau. Both off-grid kids, and yeah, I guess we were gonna just kind of like talk about the pretty in poverty. We're both from the lower income side of the spectrum. But we're gonna kind of like talk about like almost the part where we were kind of lucky to grow up that way. And I think as an adult right now, because I grew up that way, I'm not really afraid of I don't know, I'm not really afraid of having to survive. You know what I mean? I could pack up the kids
Oh yeah, no.
and
The
go
survival
live in the
instinct is
trees.
there.
Yeah, and go live
Always.
in the trees if I need to, you know what I mean? So,
Totally.
I think so. Oh, hi, hi.
Oh, hi, Auntie.
Hi, everybody. EBT Kids, Hustle Town, Real Talk. Yes, this is Real Talk. We're doing Real Talk. That's the point of my lives. Everybody likes to interview real content creators and people who made it far. And I want to talk to the real people. I want to talk to people who grew up in the real struggle and made it out. And or not even really made it out, but are now happy where they are, regardless of how they grew up. All right,
Yes.
Jess, tell us how was your let's see, how was it growing up in Ocean View? First of all,
Rough.
in your place.
It was rough, especially for a 8-year-old, when you don't really have much to do but to play in lava tubes and, like play out in the Ohia forests and get lost blocks away from your home.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mhm.
no, it was especially when you don't have electricity or running water or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like cooking on fires and, propane, and even sometimes not even having any money or anything to do that. So it was, you know, it was, all I can sum it up. And it was rough. And I'm sure it was a
Right.
lot more rough for my parents, because they had to raise 5 kids. I'm the oldest of two sets of twins. So, um, I being the oldest, I had to grow up a little quicker because I was taking care of my siblings as well.
Right.
I'm totally not shaming my parents at all. My mother, especially, she is a very, very strong woman. My dad, on the other hand, as I said, I'm not talking bad about him, but I don't really talk to him. Um, they went through a lot, a lot of substance abuse, a lot of alcohol abuse, just, my mom held it together for everybody. She kind of was the glue for it, for the sake of me and my siblings. My dad was kind of just in the background. I mean, I guess that's not really the best
I
way to
couldn't
put it,
no,
but
that's exactly how to put it. I mean, I feel like a lot of times, and this is not a knock to any of our kane or anything like that, but I do feel like our fathers or of that age area, if they were struggling with substance abuse and they ended up with women like our moms kind of had no choice but to step up and take care of the kids, even
yeah,
though it wasn't a perfect area. I
yeah,
think
playing the mom and the dad role,
yeah,
just, yeah,
I think a lot of habit that I picked up from that was holding on to toxic relationships myself.
likewise,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
and holding on to something that gave me love and attention,
yeah.
and regardless how toxic it was.
Well, I
And
mean,
that's not even
even,
like a
no, no, I know, but even being in a relationship, like, for example, I had a relationship that was really toxic, really abusive, and because I grew up with that, I watched my, parents go through toxicity like that, and I thought it was normal,
Mhm.
until you get to a point and you're like, this is not normal. I'm not happy. I'm going down the wrong path. I'm doing the wrong things, and yeah. I mean, you kind of, just, I know in our relationships we have now, it's a lot different from what we had, you
Right.
know, it's way different, it's
Well,
beautiful.
especially
It's
now
way
because
beautiful.
yeah, especially now because me and Kaika did go through a real rough patch, and we had to leave our home to get better for our relationship. We had to literally leave the island. Oh, and there, she's talking about Big Island, guys. Um, we're talking about Ka'u side, Ocean View. If
Yeah,
you've been on the Big Island, let's see, catchment water starts from what, Papa Bay,
pretty
all the
much.
way out, and then you got half of a whole island that is catchment water, or a lot of times there is no catchment water, and people
And you got a
are
whole water.
you got to haul water.
Yeah,
So yes, FBI from Big Island.
yes.
But that's you guys asked what island she's talking about. That is the island she is talking about. But yeah, so with me and Kaika, we had to completely leave, and it wasn't everyone else. It wasn't. It was he was comfortable in his addiction, and he was comfortable that I wasn't leaving. He was comfortable knowing that regardless how much times I said I was leaving, I never left. And I knew that I had to leave the whole last island to give that boy an ultimatum. And he acted very fast and he
Good.
cleaned. I'm like, really? I should have left to Oahu like 10 years ago. No.
Yeah. Things
But
happen when they're supposed to happen.
yeah,
I'm a firm believer in, the universe sets us up to
yeah,
be in a certain place at a certain time, with the right people.
yes,
We definitely have to push. It's not like it just happens. We have to push ourselves to do it,
yep,
but we do. We manifest our
yeah.
our what we're going to do, what we're going to be. So yeah.
And I think it's great that we had moms though with that kind of mindset, because a lot of times our women stay in those abusive relationships. They don't get out. They don't have
Yeah.
that wake up call. You know what I
No,
mean? They don't
definitely.
have that, this is wrong. He doesn't love me. He shouldn't be doing this to me.
Yes.
Switch in their head.
Yeah.
And we were lucky to have that switch, because not a lot of
Oh, for
people
sure.
get to have that switch. Oh my
Oh, for
gosh.
sure.
Yeah. So how have you um what have you left behind in your past, and what have you brought forward? What have you brought into the lifestyle now? You know what I
Oh.
mean?
Oh, I brought forward, like a bunch of trauma,
Yes. It's a bunch of
You
trauma.
know,
Well,
I
this
mean,
is a trauma
I'm
dump right here, baby.
I'm saying this wholeheartedly is because I've accepted my traumas. I acted upon my traumas before. Um, from like I want to say from like 19 to 26 or so, 27 was a very rough patch because I was coming out of that abusive relationship also from my childhood. I mean, this is completely different subjects that we could talk about another time, but my
No, we
childhood
can
was
we can we can just voila out.
yeah.
We can just go
No,
off. We can go off
childhood
subject.
was yeah. I mean, I would. There's a lot of things that shouldn't have happened in my childhood, but I honestly wouldn't change anything because I am the person I am today because of it.
Right?
So I mean, it did make me a much stronger person. But from 19 to 20, about 26, it was a lot of battling with
Right.
myself and trying to find myself and trying to figure out everything. So I think around like 30, going through like enlightenment and understanding more things about myself and accepting that I do love myself and I am worthy of these things, even though my childhood and my life before um, were just not as promising. You kind of just like, you feel like you're going to give up.
Yeah.
But so sorry, going back on your question, leaving behind, um, I guess like leaving Ocean View. I guess I was leaving behind the trauma and not wanting that lifestyle. My parents divorced when I was 16, 17, and I was still in Kauai. So I was in my senior year when they divorced each other, and it was rough because I didn't want to leave my friends. I didn't want to go to Konawaina and graduate with people. I mean, I did know people in Konawaina because I went to Honolulu as well,
Right.
but my life I grew up with is in Kau, you know. So I had to make that decision to. So one of my best friends took me in. Her father took me in so that I could finish off my senior year. But as soon as I finished off that year, I was out of there. I moved back to Honolulu. I've been in Honolulu area ever since. Like after I graduated high school, I went back to my home with my grandmother's, which is no longer there, which is really sad. But um, you know, I wanted to leave behind. There wasn't everything. I wanted to leave behind
Yeah.
everything except for my friends and family and like memories here and there. I played a lot of sports growing up because I didn't want to be a part of my home life, you know,
Right.
from Little League Baseball and Ocean View Youth Group. I see Mama Cindy in here. I used to
Yeah.
stay at their house almost every weekend,
Yes.
because we us kids, we never wanted to be home. There was nothing fun there. Auntie Cindy's house had all the everything.
All the kids were there. I
Yes,
remember
we
her
were.
van.
We would
Yeah,
stay
it was
there
loaded.
almost every weekend. Yes, and it was wonderful. Thank you, by the way. I love you for taking care of all of us, Auntie Cindy. But yeah. So no, we did. We pretty much grew up with Auntie Cindy and Kaika and Cheyenne and all of them. So they're like other siblings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm.
I know. Yeah. Don't even get me started on how the hell I ended up with Kaika.
I
I
think we
came
might have
back.
talked about that when you did my hair, but
I came back one year and he was like grown, and I was like,
I know
hmm,
they're all grown. I'm like, what the
yeah,
fuck? What
you're
happened?
tall enough now. No,
Oh,
you got
that's
2 feet on me. Woo! Oh my god, I better stop. Look at.
great.
Oh my god. So how is mom? Mom's up in mainland now.
Everybody's up in the mainland. So my dad is in Oahu.
Okay.
As I said, I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him in since I got married, which was 2 years ago, almost two
Right.
years ago.
Did he come to the wedding?
But no,
No. That's
no,
okay.
my stepdad walked me down the aisle, which I'm very grateful for him.
Yeah.
My mom's much happier with her new husband, and I'm very grateful for that. But where were we going?